All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012167, State versus Stephanie Lynn Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Irene Galloway for the state.
Defense?
Rochelle Savella for Ms. Gonzalez.
And are you Miss Gonzalez? All right, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at a $2,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. The state will take in consideration 2024 CC 738173. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, community service restitution, no contact with quick trips, QUI. Is it QUICK or QUIK?
QIK.
All right, so no contact. Oh, thank you for spelling that for us. So there's to be no, it has a C in there. So there's to be no contact with quick trips. There's to be the theft course and MRT. Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I would just ask that you follow the plea bargain. She has been in custody for almost, I believe, 5 years or five
Yeah,
months.
5 years,
Sorry, 5 months, Judge. And so with that, I would ask that I know, obviously, I explained that she has to do the TAP evaluation. I would ask the court to allow her to get on probation and do that while she's out.
All right. So how old are you?
I'm 36, Your Honor.
Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
18, 17, 13, 12, 10, 9, and 6.
So you say 18, 17, 13, 12, 10, 9, and 6?
Yes, sir.
And do you have custody of any of your children?
No, Your Honor.
So who are they with?
My aunt adopted them about 7 years ago.
Okay. So why was Child Protective Services involved?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I was in a drug issues years ago. I moved to San Antonio 3 years ago. I've been living in my truck since then.
All right, so this offense is alleged to have, well, not alleged, I found that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. So this offense occurred September 2024. So how often were you using during that time frame?
I wasn't using. It was in my possession, but I haven't been using for 3 years.
So you were not using that day?
No, Your Honor.
So why do you have it in your possession?
It was meant to be sold,
Oh, okay.
to be honest.
All right. So is there anything else?
No.
All right. Do you think Esperanza Court is a place for her? Because I don't know who these other men who were with her.
Judge, I haven't asked her about the background, but I can certainly ask her, and I think that if it is appropriate, I mean, I do think that you can do the referral and we can do the evaluation.
All right. So this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. And just so everyone knows, we were all wrong. It is QWIK. So it's not QUIC and it's not QIKs. I would say QIK or any of that. So we were all wrong. So there's to be no contact with Quick Trip. And it's one word, it's QWIKTRP. There's also to be no contact with the following persons: Michael Ramos, and Isaac Ramos. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. I want the following done in custody: a TAP evaluation, a referral to felony drug court, and a referral to Esperanza Court. If she's not accepted into felony drug court or Esperanza Court, please have her brought back to court so we can figure out a appropriate placement for her. I don't know if this is an MRT problem or not. It doesn't appear to be an MRT problem. It appears to be a drug problem that's impacting MRT. So I'm not going to order the MRT. I will order theft course, cats 1 and 2. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. 120 sober meetings in 120 days. And there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No.
All right, we can go off the record. To be successful in this court, communication is key. Now, MRT, I said that you didn't need it, but obviously there are things that are going on with you because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children, and you don't have custody of any of them. And you still have not changed your ways. You were that person who was fruitful and you multiplied, and then somebody else took over the care of your children because you cannot get your life in order and you keep doing wild and crazy things. Let me just explain to you. I wouldn't say every day, but what will you think about it? Maybe once a week, there's somebody that's found in a field, and then somebody has to go out and identify the body. And usually it's they overdosed, or either they're with bad people who are upset with them. So 1 or 2 things that end up happening in your life if you don't get your life together. Somebody is going to have to identify you in a field, or either you are going to be in somebody's prison for the rest of your natural life. Do you understand? If you don't want that to happen to you, you're going to have to change your ways.
Yes,
I always tell people, you know what? Life is so simple. If everybody would follow the rules, wouldn't be a problem. Like children, when the parents give them curfew, if they say the curfew is at 10, if they would just be at home at 10, there would not even be a problem. But no, they want to push it. So from here on out, you cannot be pushing in that line. You know why? Because you're looking at 20 years in the prison. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
And paperwork is done correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012995 State versus D. Anthony Bernard Perkins. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Defense.
Albert Chidas for Mr. Perkins.
And are you Mr. Perkins?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we move to proceed on the lesser included offense of theft from person with state charge felony.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand that state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft from a person as a state jail felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft from a person as a state jail felony. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 108 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications, and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
To the offense as charged, the lesser included offense, how do you plea? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, we just want to proceed with the agreement. I think as a misdemeanor punishment on a state jail conviction, it's a judgment satisfied.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to 108 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's to be no contact with the complainant, and the court will find that the judgment is satisfied. All right, we can go off the record. So now you have a felony conviction of a pair of shoes. I don't know why people think brand name shoes or a particular brand name shoe is worth potentially going to prison over having a felony conviction. So now, whenever you go somewhere for a place employment, guess what? It's going to pop up that you're a felon. You understand? Make better choices. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who's here? Miguel Santibanez Jr. Is that you?
It is.
Okay. And where's your client? Hello.
Hi.
All right, so the state is dismissing your case. They're not dismissing your case because they're saying you didn't do it. They're dismissing your case because they say that the witness is missing.
I understand.
So make better choices. You understand?
Absolutely.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Maybe
You're welcome. Yes. Court is calling 2025 CR 001162W and 2025 CR 001160W State versus Mark Anthony Guzman. Can I have parties announced for the record?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Phyllis Field for the defense.
And are you Mr. Guzman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, did you review the document entitled information with your attorney? Did you understand them? And counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Yes, Your Honor.
And state, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes.
All right. And the cause numbers, you're charged with the offenses of unauthorized use of a vehicle in possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Each of those cause numbers are state jail felonies. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? And each of the cause numbers, did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, according to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 months in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There's a $2,000 fine. There are no applications and the causes are the run concurrently. Did you understand that to be the plea in each of the cause numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then in cause number 2025 CR 001160W, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Okay.
And the cause number 2025 CR 001162W, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Okay.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes.
And the cause number ending in 1160W, the court will sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 01162W. And there's to be no contact with Alta Street in San Antonio, Texas. And in the cause number 2025 CR 00162W, the court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money to run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2025 CR 001160W. Give you credit for any time served. And there's to be no contact with Alta Street in San Antonio, Texas. All right, good luck to you. If you don't do better, you're gonna find yourself living at the prison. You understand?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Phyllis, for coming back.
No problem. Judge,
Yes.
he actually lives on Alta Street.
Oh, well, here's the problem with you living on Alta Street. On Alta Street, they say you keep bringing people and selling drugs from your home and having crime there. That's what's gonna end up happening. If you end up on Alta Street and you're there, then you'll be there. But I will tell you this, police will not come on your street if you're not selling drugs and having vehicles that do not belong to you.
So I could,
People, here's the thing, People are tired. People are sick and tired of, you go to a neighborhood and guess what? Maybe your neighbor doesn't mow the lawn and you would appreciate them not mowing the lawn. But when it gets to the point where everybody's doing drugs, then guess what? The neighborhood goes down because everybody's doing drugs and nobody's calling it in. So they're saying you were doing drugs. Your next door neighbor doesn't want you doing drugs next to her.
Don't blame her, and I don't. And
Well, I mean, they have you with drugs.
wanna rent my house out and move.
All right, so he's gonna rent it out. So we're good.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Richard Madrigal Flores. All right, what is happening with this case?
Judge, I was just appointed on this a few days ago.
Mhm.
I believe the previous council didn't show support and they assigned me to this. So I'm on it now. Introduce myself. We've gone over a little bit of the stuff and
Okay.
if I can get a discovery deadline date on it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Madrigal, if I could have a 30-day reset for discovery.
And then just the other matter, Judge, is previous council had filed a motion to reinstate the personal recognizance bond, if we could potentially hear that.
All right, I can hear that on Thursday. Because I don't have the document with me. Does anyone have the? Oh, thank you. All right, here we go. We're on the record in 2024 CR 011824 State versus Richard Madrigal Flores. Could I have parties announced for the record? State,
Virginia for the state of Texas.
Attorney Alvarez Philip for Mr. Madrigal Flores.
are you Mr. Madrigal Flores?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this defense is asking for a reinstatement of the PR bond. The defendant is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So the court's first question is, why was the PR bond revoked?
My understanding, Judge, just according to the update letter that was provided from pretrial services, is at the time that he was on bond, that there was a GPS issue that they didn't have communication with it. So the next step, according to the letter, was that they reached out to the number for him, which was his mother's number. And she wasn't picking up and giving him the message that they were trying to get a hold of him. So as a result, there was an emergency warrant issued by the magistrate, it looks like sometime at the nighttime. And then he was subsequently arrested a few days following that. So he was out for about a week.
All right, so was he arrested with the GPS on?
Yes, ma'am. It was over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I want to know, like, did he still have a GPS on his ankle?
That information I don't have, Your Honor. However, we would like to clarify at least. I understand what defense counsel is saying about the communication signal being lost and his mom's phone number. However, at least from the violation report that the state has, and I believe this is in front of the court, it looks like maybe the reason that the GPS signal was lost is because the defendant wasn't charging his device. Additionally, it also seems like when pretrial services call the defendant, he rejects or hangs up the calls. And so that's the information in front of the state. I just want to put that on the record.
Okay,
If I could just follow up with a few questions for him.
sure. You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Richard Madrigal Flores.
Mr. Flores, when you were released on November, or when were you released, excuse me?
I believe I was released November 22nd.
And it was with the GPS?
Yes,
And where were you residing?
at my mother's house.
And the phone number that was provided to pretrial services, was that your mom's phone number?
That was my mother's phone.
And how old is your mother?
74.
And can you explain to the court, does she work night shifts?
Yes, sir. She works night shifts at Toyota 74. She sleeps from about 7 o'clock in the morning all the way till about 3:30, almost 4. Gets up and goes to work at 5.
And during this period, did she ever notify you that pretrial services are trying to get a hold of you?
No, she was still asleep.
You understand when you're out on bond on a GPS and you provide a number, they have to have a reason, a way to get a hold of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a current number today?
We just ordered a phone. All we gotta do is pick it up.
Okay,
I don't know the number as of right now. But when I get back this afternoon, I'll be able to call home.
So, so if you're given an opportunity to get out on a PR bond again, you'll have your own phone number. You're not relying on your mother, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then, do you remember when you were picked up?
I was
Arrested?
picked up November 25th,
Okay,
Monday. Reported at 9 o'clock in the morning by phone, like it was asking. And then by 11:30, they asked me to check in by 1 o'clock. I live in Poti. It's an hour drive. So I got dressed real quick, jumped in my car and drove straight down here. I made it by 1 o'clock.
and this is at pretrial services?
Yes, sir.
And when you got there, they arrested you?
Yes, sir.
And you had the GPS on at that time?
I did.
Okay, so are you asking the court to grant you the PR bond?
If possible, please.
And just one other thing, do you have employment available to you?
As of right now, I'm in the process of gaining employment. I'm trying to go work with my mom at Toyota. I also tattoo on the side.
I pass the witness.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Madrigal,
Metro Flores.
Mr. Madrigal, I'm sorry. When you were initially given the PR bond, were the terms of how the UPS was discussed with you?
Yes,
Do you fully understand that?
yes,
And did you agree to regularly keep up with it while you were on bond?
yes.
Okay. Now, did pretrial attorneys also discuss how to keep in touch with you?
They gave me a phone number and they told me to report by Monday morning. That's what I did.
And did you regularly report when you were out?
I reported that one time early in the morning at 9 o'clock and they asked me to report by 1 o'clock in person. And I did.
Do you feel it is your responsibility or your mother's responsibility to check in?
It's my responsibility.
No further questions, John.
All right, any further questions?
You followed the instructions of pretrial services, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't aware that they were trying to get a hold of you because you didn't know that your GPS wasn't communicating with the tower, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and had you known about it, you would have got that fixed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pass witness.
All right, any further questions? I have a couple of questions.
Right.
All right. When's the last time you charged your GPS?
I believe I plugged it in about 7 o'clock Sunday, Monday morning.
All right. And how long does that charge last?
I looked up the GPS online and to get a better understanding on that part, and it says that the charge lasts up to 35 hours.
And the other question, what is 1986 to you?
It's the year I was born.
Right. And the Cadillac tattoo?
I was the type of vehicle my brother died in.
Ah, and what is that? The White House or something on the other side? Okay, and what is that on the other side?
It's the LA. There's Los Angelitos.
Mhm. And what is your ties there?
It was a gang that I was representing when I was a kid.
Okay. All right, is there anything else?
Another for the judge.
Anything further?
Yes, sir.
All right, motion for the PR bond will be denied. Is there anything else?
No, nothing
All
further.
right, we'll see you back on March 6th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. Hi. Court is calling 2024 CR 010030B, State versus Gonzalo Garcia. All right, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris, Salem.
Defense?
Dave Rodriguez for Gonzalo Garcia.
And are you Mr. Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Maybe counts here, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objections.
You understand you're charged with credit card or debit card abuse as a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court would find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. They are silent on your application for deferred adjudication. They recommend community supervision. There's to be restitution in the amount of $2,216.75 to Kendall, Kendall, and Carl Palm, Palme. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years and there be no contact with the complainants. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged in count 1, how do you plead?
No contest.
After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed with sentencing?
We do.
All right. The state is silent on his application for deferred. Why should he have deferred?
Your Honor, Mr. Garcia has 0 criminal history since very first offense. This is a property crime, so it was not a crime of violence or a crime involving any sort of drugs or alcohol. That's why I'd like for this young man to get one chance to keep his record clean.
All right. Why?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I apologize for interrupting, if I may. I have
Yes.
his criminal history. If you would like to see it for yourself,
Yes.
and
Do you have criminal history?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been arrested?
No, ma'am. There is always a mix up when it comes to me and my father. So hopefully it's not just they're finding my dad's stuff.
All right. So you've never been arrested? Okay. So why did you do this?
As I've said before, it was big misunderstanding between me and the person who gave it to me.
What do you mean?
With-
Okay, let's start here because I like to go in order.
So,
So who gave it to you?
so previous conversation, I knew the credit. Me and Carl were talking previously.
No, no,
about
who
it.
gave you the card?
Carl through an envelope with nothing else besides here.
Okay, so continue.
So when he gave it to me, he didn't tell me anything. He said then all he said was, fill this out, go about your job. So while I was in the work van, I popped it open, was filling out things, 2 questions popped up. I clicked one of the options and proceeded to fill it out the way it was already done. It already had my social, my email already pre-fabbed into it. So I'm assuming without my knowledge and telling me, hey, I'm getting you a credit card, did so. Didn't explain to me anything about it. So when I did it, it was used in the way it was used, y'all seen.
Okay, so what you're telling me doesn't make any sense. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding you
That's-
and that we don't have a breakdown of communication. So you're saying that Carl gave you a credit card
Yes,
and he told you to take it and fill it out.
yes.
So you filled it out on a computer.
On my phone through the American Express website.
All right, so you filled it out through the American Express website. And when you logged in, your name and everything,
All my information was pre-fabbed filled out because it was to activate the card.
all right, so what transactions do you think you were supposed to have with this card?
So with little understanding and the conversation we had was to help me build credit. I don't know how that works on the business aspect because finding out the business card after the whole situation, that was that. Me, the way people explain to credit to me was you use it and you pay back either in full amount after use or monthly on the minimums. That's my only thing on how I took for credit cards. Like I'm saying, new to credit, never understood all this. So for him.
So
to
let me
try to
ask you
tell me-
this. Was your name on that credit card?
Yes, ma'am. It said my name and then right below it, that's when it says, that's the below part that said, or general, OGCC, I know it's Orion General Contracting.
All right, this doesn't make any sense to me what he's saying.
That's exactly what the police said, because they're confused on both ends.
No, I mean, I'm not confused as far as what the police report is saying. What the police report is saying is that you were using this credit card for your personal items, not for business. So it says, Carl said Gonzalo has been employed with him for approximately 2.5 years and is authorized to use the business card for business expensive purposes. So can we agree that what you used the card for was not business expenses?
Yes,
All right, so then that's off the table. We now know that the card was used for things other than business expenses. So I don't understand why he is confused and he thinks that he had permission to use it for personal items.
I think he was confused that since his name was on the card and his name came first on the card, he thought he was an authorized user for whatever purposes, as long as he paid the bill on that card. This is a person who's never owned a credit card, doesn't really get how it works, but he was thinking it was also his card, not just strictly a company card. It was a card where he could make purchases as long as he paid the bill on the card.
And was he paying?
Hadn't got the chance to pay because
All right, so
everything's
the answer to
expired.
that is no, you didn't
No,
pay?
no, ma'am.
The charges were brought before the first payment was due.
All right, so then the question becomes, does he want a jury trial?
No, he understands that the personal purchases that he made need to be paid back, and that's part of the deal, and that's why we're asking for adjudication to give him a chance to pay back the things that he charged to actually pay for those things.
Well, the indictment says that he confesses and admit, you have the usual on and about dates. And in Bexar County, Texas, that with intent to fraudulently obtain a benefit, he used a credit or debit card, namely American Express card, with knowledge that the card had not been issued to him. So his name is on the card. Doesn't that mean it's been issued to him?
I think you can have a company credit card with an individual's name on it, but it's still the company card.
No, I mean, here comes the and part. The and part on it is with knowledge that the card was not used with the effective consent of the card holder. So the fact that it was issued to him, he's telling me it was legally issued to him. The only question is about the use of it.
Correct.
And he is saying that he thought he was using it appropriately.
Yes, ma'am. That I'm doing. I do. At the time,
How far did you go in school?
How far did I go in school? Out of school.
And you're telling me you don't know how credit cards work?
No, my family has never had good credit, so they never had credit cards. No one in my close vicinity, no uncles, no aunts, nobody. So for this being the first time having to do with anything credit related, new concept. My mom can't tell me anything about it because she don't really understand. That's why I'm saying the basics, the layman's, what they told me is you use, pay back. That's the layman's of what my family said, but no one of them had credit cards before because none of them have scores enough to get credit cards.
All right, why didn't you talk to your employer if you didn't understand?
That probably should have been brought up from the start before the enrollment, but because I was brushed off, I just used. However, without further discussion, that right there would be my own negligence that I didn't discuss further with him. And I can't sit there and be like, well, it's also his fault for not telling me, because both parties are in fault at that situation.
State, is there anything you wish to add as it relates to fact issues?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Are you currently employed?
Recently lost my job, but I'm working with Blue Ribbon Staffing Agency to work with HEB on their assembly line.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution and no contact to Carl and Kenda Palm. The amount of restitution is $2,216.75. There's 200 hours of community service restitution. That will be waived if you obtain a higher level of education. That can be a trade school. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Thank you. Proof of employment within 30 days, no employment. Oh, I did. Proof of employment, 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Is there anything else you need from the court? All right, good luck to you. If you don't understand something, you have to let people know you don't understand. There's no shame. There are no such things as dumb questions. I always tell my student, there's only one dumb question. You know what the one dumb question is? Not asking the question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. you.